Coming up next on Channel 6 television, Grassy Roots with Dr. Jim Carey and Beth Overgaauw. A show which will guide you down paths to healthier living by simply adjusting your eating habits. Stay tuned to Channel 6 for Grassy Roots.
Hi, welcome once again to Grassy Roots. I'm Beth Overgaauw and I'm here with Dr. Jim Carey, and once again we are going to delve into some of the maybe mysteries to some of you on the raw living foods lifestyle.
Thank you, Beth. It's great to be here.
It's always a pleasure. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about the nutritional reasons for taking on a raw living foods lifestyle.
What I like to do tonight, Beth, because I could sit here and I could sit here for the next 4 hours and lecture, but that gets old and tired. So I'm going to give you some basic foundations about the basic fundamental problem of the standard American diet.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to our first solution, step one.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little talk, and we're going to do a little kitchen.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
Here's the premise. 100 years ago, 95% of the American population lived on the farm.
Okay.
And they ate off the farm, and they ate lots of raw living foods. Okay. Sure, they had the fried foods and stuff, but they didn't have so much fried. Anyhow, details. Main thing is 95% of the population lived on the farm. Today, something like 4% of the American population lives on a farm. And at that, those 4% have been taught that good food comes in cans and frozen TV dinners and the big fast food chains. That diet evolved because of preservation of food.
Okay.
Okay. It's a lot easier to put it in a can or freeze it or prepare it and put all these preservatives in it than it is to try to get it to market. Well, you know how you buy produce and you throw half it away because you're not eating it fast enough.
Right.
Imagine that on the semi-truckload scale. So it evolved as an economic nicety, not necessity, but nicety. But what we've done over the course of time with that is demineralized our food. And what's happened by our generation, after 4 generations, 3 generations of living off the farm, is we've forgotten how to eat healthy. We don't know how to eat healthy. Okay? So, Dr. Ann always said, listen to your body. But we have to learn to listen to our body, because it's not about what my body wants, it's about what my body needs. And at this point, my body I have trained my body to want things that aren't necessarily what they need. And that standard American diet, well, it's twofold. Let's go back to, so how do I know what my body needs? We trained it out of ourselves.
Right.
Okay? And we can go back and look at what our great-great-great-grandparents did. And that's part of what I've done, is what did Abe Lincoln and Ben Franklin and the boys, Tom Jefferson, what did they eat? Okay, that's part of it. But there's actually an easier way. Our closest genetic cousin, and science has come out and said that genetically the chimpanzees are over 99% the same as man. That 1% is a big difference.
Yeah.
But still genetically, they're our closest cousin. So if I want to see what my body needs, I can probably get a real good clue by watching chimpanzees. And what the chimpanzees exist on? They list on mostly leafy greens.
Okay.
Seeds and nuts, a little bit of fruit, okay, and some veggies, but it's mostly leafy greens. So if that's what chimps are doing, oh God, I promised everybody, guys, I'm sorry, I promised everybody we weren't going to be sitting here and eating the big salad bowl, okay?
Yeah, really.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me cover, see, the big salad bowl is what our body needs.
And it takes a long time to eat a big salad bowl.
Well, there's that, okay, especially if we ate right, because we should chew And if you look at the old nutrition books, just from 1920s, 1930s, we should chew every bite 35 to 50 times until it is liquid in your mouth.
Ooh.
Even my great-grandmother used to tell it, my grandmother even said, nature will castigate those who don't masticate.
Okay.
And if you look at the pictures of the old presidents, they had the great big jaws. Everybody had a strong jawline. Ulysses S. Grant, didn't they? What's that about?
Okay.
Lots of leafy greens, chew every bite till it's liquid in your mouth. Number one, we don't do that. We become a gulping society. Number two...
I can attest to that.
Great. You said you were the speed eater earlier off camera. Number two, the atomic bonding of the minerals and the nutrients in leafy greens is the strongest of anything we could put in our body. It's the hardest one to get the nutrition out of.
Oh, okay.
It's the most important that we chew it till it's liquid in our mouth. Now, my grandmother would sit there and watch me and count, and I sat there at the supper table chewing every bite 35 times, and I'm not saying she made 35 stick, but she did make me more of a chewer than I was when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. By the time I was 7 or 8, both grandmothers, both sides, and I spent the summers with my grandmother in Vermont. Man, it'd take forever to eat. But it was a healthy thing because the body can get the nutrition out. So I've got a secret and a tip and a trick for us today, and that is a way to pre-digest the food. Ooh, that sounded gross.
Yeah, that just.
But it's a shortcut.
But you know, a lot of animals do that for their children.
Right, and this is a lot more appetizing than how the animals do
it.
Okay? All you need is a blender.
Okay.
Now there's good, powerful brands. I mean, my favorite is a Vitamix. Okay, and grassyroots.com/Vitamix is right here.
Yeah.
I will post the links tonight when I get home for people to take them to the website. That's easier than rattling them off. Anything we mention on the air, I'll give them a link to take them there. But that's $400 and up.
Right.
Okay, it's almost that much on eBay used.
It's commitment.
It's commitment. You don't need that to get started.
No.
Okay. A $5 blender will do. I have found that an old used blender from a yard sale, especially if it's 20 years old or so, people buy blenders, they use them to make daiquiris 3 Christmases in a row, and then it sits under the counter for 20 years.
These days they have the little blenders too that you can.
And that's another good one. Those little miniature blenders, they're good. But for what I'm going to do on the demonstration tonight, I'm going to bring my Vitamix on. Okay. But back home at the cabin, I mean the Vitamix is staying up here in Georgia. Where am I? Kentucky, at the Kentucky office. But back on my farm in Georgia, I've got some yard sale blenders. What I'm trying to say is a 20-year-old blender for $5 is more powerful. They're made in America. They have a better winding on the motors. I bought $30, $40, $50 blenders at the discount store, and I got tired of taking them back every 3 weeks because I was burning them out. Oh, they swap it out. It's great every 3 weeks. New blender, but it gets to be a pain. I've had $5 and $3 blenders that I've used for about a year, and when you start smelling burning wiring, you're burning it out.
Time to get a new one.
And it's unappetizing to have that smell in the kitchen. It's time to throw it in the trash, recycle pile, whatever, and get another $5 blender. And that's all you need to get started with this. And most people have one under the cupboard if you dig around. It's been 15 years, because like I said, you used it for 3 parties. So we're going to make something that Dr. Ann called energy soup.
Okay.
But I'm going to call it a green smoothie.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is make it a little more appetizing. Dr. Ann's program was very Spartan. Okay. And I pretty much eat Dr. Ann's program now, but my body has changed and my taste buds have changed.
Right.
I've been doing this for 6
Start with
years.
something a little less.
This is something that you can serve it up. The kids will like it. Your husband will like it. And you'll like it. And what it does is by running our greens and everything through the blender and chopping them up so small, that's going to take a big load off the digestive system. Because the standard American diet, not only do we not chew enough, the standard American diet has left us with a very low level of hydrochloric acid, which is what breaks down the food. So I've got unchewed food with low hydrochloric acid. So anyhow, we're going to give the body a big head start. We're going to run this through a blender. We're going to throw a little fruit in, okay, to make it more appetizing. If you saw one of mine, people go, oh. But here's what happens. If you follow along with me for the next 6 months, your body chemistry is going to change. Your body chemistry is going to go from acidic to alkaline.
And that's where it's supposed to be.
Our bodies are designed to be alkaline. And in the presence of an alkaline body chemistry, you also end up with a high oxygen content in your blood. Guess what? Cancer thrives in a low oxygen acidic environment. In a high oxygen alkaline environment, cancers just die off. I've seen this hundreds of times at Creative Health Institute, and after about a year on this lifestyle, they go back to the doctor and they're cancer free. And you know what the doctor says every time? Oh, you were misdiagnosed. Every single guest we've had was misdiagnosed for cancer. They come to us, they hang around for a year or two, and boom, they're cured, but it was all misdiagnosis. It's funny how that coincidence is. It's only the misdiagnosed cases don't go to Creative Health Institute or do my home study program. We'll talk about that more in a couple weeks, but I've written a couple books about this. I have a DVD collection. I mean, we go into extreme detail. I mean, the DVD collection is about 50 hours of video. Because it's a whole lifestyle change.
Right, it is, and you need to be armed with knowledge.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with baby steps.
And that's why we're going to start. We're going to do a little hands-on.
I mean, even if somebody just does a green smoothie every day for the rest of their life and never does anything else, they probably...
That's right. Last week I promised you scientific evidence. In Oregon, about 4 to 5 years ago, and you can Google this, it's called the Roseburg Study. Victoria and Igor Butenko, it's down here on the screen. They did this with an MD with 30-some patients, and they had a 16-ounce green smoothie once a day, which the Butenkos prepared for them. At the end of the study period, all but one person in the study said that they had noticed a marked improvement in their health. All but 2 or 3 wanted to know, could they continue on? So Igor and Victoria had to do a how to make a green smoothie presentation class. They put together an evening thing. It changed their lives that much that in 30 days, even though they were paid to do the study, they didn't want to quit.
They didn't want to quit.
Okay, so this is a great starting place, and I think we're ready. Let's go to the kitchen.
Okay, let's do it.
Stay tuned for more Grassy Roots after these words from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you go, you spend 2 weeks, and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Molkevitz. a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set. The other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's Raw Living Foods lifestyle. It's available at SheDiet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
Looking for a comprehensive guide on the subject of the raw foods lifestyle? Susan Shang has written an encyclopedia on the subject, The Live Food Factor. This comprehensive guide to the ultimate diet for body, mind, spirit, and planet covers every possible factor related to the subject. This compilation has received rave reviews by those in the raw foods movement. Visit www.livefoodfactor.com for your copy. The Live Food Factor by Susan Shang. Want to learn more about a raw living foods lifestyle? There's a wide collection of videos on the subject at SheDietVideos.com. You can find a video on any subject that suits your interest and your budget, including rare footage of Dr. Ann Wigmore's raw living food lifestyle programs. This knowledge could change your life. Check out SheDietVideos.com. And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV with Beth Overgaauw and Jim Carey.
So, here we are in the kitchen with all kinds of good foods surrounding us. Everywhere I look, you've put good things on the...
Yeah, and your crew's been eating all my props.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get rolling with this while we still have food left.
Yeah.
We're going to make everybody lunch today.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand it's going to be easily digestible.
Mm-hmm.
And it requires some chewing, but not as much as it would in another form.
That's right.
What else? Easy to make,
Mm-hmm.
and got a lot of variety.
Mm-hmm. You were paying attention over
I
here.
was trying.
The requires some chewing is important.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you could drink these down, especially if you really run that blender, digestion begins in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a chemical excreted in the saliva that works with the hydrochloric acid in the stomach to digest your food. So it's always important to chew our food, even though we could just gulp it down.
Yeah.
Because digestion begins in the mouth. Now we use blending, again, because people don't chew their food enough. Okay, and I mean the old handbooks, and remember the picture of the presidents and they had real strong jaws?
Right.
Because you chewed your food 35 to 50 bites until it was liquid in your mouth. We've lost that with this soft food, fast food generation. So this gives us that head start, okay, but we still want to chew it.
Okay.
So what we're going to do today has 2 names. One is energy soup.
Okay.
That's what Dr. Ann called it, and that's what I like to call it because that's what I think of it as, is energy soup. But Victoria Butenko, in her book, 12 Steps to Raw Food, and her video, Greens Can Save Your Life, she calls them green smoothies.
Okay.
The main difference I see is Victoria makes them real smooth and blendy, and if you follow Dr. Ann's recipes right down to the liquids, they come out more soupy, okay, more like, I mean, they're looser.
All right.
Mine come out different every time.
Yeah. The few I've blended have come out different every time.
And it has to do with the liquids. You know, I think I've got 30 recipes in my book for smoothies.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting points. They're to give you ideas, okay? But in the end, making a smoothie is really an art, not a science. Now, when we bake a cake, baking a cake is a science, because if I leave out one ingredient, if I leave out the baking powder, the cake doesn't rise, right? It's a chemical reaction that goes on there. It's just like high school chemistry class, because when you heat it, something happens.
Right.
And when we added the energy, a chemical reaction takes place. But because we're not heating it, because there's no chemical reactions, you can fix every recipe. Okay? If nothing else, now I made one, I put way too much jalapeno in it once.
Yeah, that might be.
Well, it came out to a 5-fold increase. I mean, I had to take down out of my blender full of way too much jalapeno. I went down about that much and thinned it out and made more, but I saved it. You can never do that if you left a baking soda out of a cake.
No.
Okay. So, all green smoothies start the same. We take, now this is a Vitamix blender, and it's a super heavy duty industrial thing. That was low. But there's nothing we're doing here that you couldn't do with a smaller blender. Maybe we can show them a little clip of me in my cabin video. That was a $2, $5 yard sale blender. Works just fine. You just have to run them longer.
Right.
Okay. I have found that that department store blenders, modern blenders, burn out quite quickly if you pay less than $400 or so for them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
these are over $400 to start with.
Okay.
Okay, and you can also get real
And
high
once
capacity.
you bought one of those, you've made a commitment to it.
You also get a lifetime warranty.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah, this is called a Vitamix. We'll
Yeah.
show them on the screen and
Yeah.
give them a link and some reviews. There's other brands too.
Yeah.
But you don't have to commit to this as part of the lifestyle. I tell people by the time you've burned out a couple $30, $40, $50 blenders,
Then you're ready.
by the time you've burned out two $50 blenders, you know you're ready for the big one.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, they only have to be $5 blenders. I find the old ones from the 60s and 70s, they last longer, they had better motors in them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I take my blender, and again, you see me measuring everything, right?
Right.
Filtered water, very important, okay?
Is it always water?
Or it can be Rejuvelac, thank you.
Okay.
And we'll talk about this another show. And as a matter of fact, I will make this first one with Rejuvelac.
Okay.
Rejuvelac is lightly fermented wheatgrass.
Okay.
What we did is we put about, well, we could have gone a little more. We put 3/4 of an inch of wheatgrass, I'll put it on the camera here, of hybrid winter wheat in here. We soaked it overnight. We then poured off the soak water. That got rid of the enzymes that interfere with digestion and interfere with its sprouting. We then covered it over with water. And because it's been cool here in the studio kitchen, and I didn't notice it was by the window for those, so this has been 3 days. And if you want to taste it,
I do. I'm very curious about this one.
smell and taste.
Smell and taste. Do you swish it too? You watch it cling to the side of the glass, you know,
Yeah.
make an art of it.
Are you going to be a Rejuvelac connoisseur?
That's
That could work.
right. It's not a strong smell, but there is a smell.
No, but it's
not
definitely
water.
what it is. It's lightly fermented wheatgrass.
Yeah.
If you
Am I gonna like this?
can like this. You could throw a little beet juice in with this, let it ferment for about a week, and you've got what we call vegan pink champagne.
Oh, it does have a bubbleness to it.
It's
kinda
fermented.
funny, yeah.
It's fermenting. I mean,
Yeah. And tomorrow it would be even more fermented.
it'll get stronger every day. And if you keep it warmer, I recommend 68 degrees as a minimum temperature. But out on the farm in the summertime, 24 hours.
Okay.
I'll let this soak 24 hours, and I can actually fill it up and drink it off 3 times before the wheatgrass berries get too weak.
Do you let it sprout enough where you see visible sprouts?
Just soak it overnight and drain it off. I'm sorry, 24 hours. Drain it off, and it's actually technically it's sprouting in here. Now because it's underwater, you won't really see the sprouts come out, but it's fermenting the wheat berries. It's technically it is sprouting, but that's why it was important to soak it
It's
first.
not. I could drink this all the time. It's not a strong flavor at this point.
And it can get stronger, but I find it more refreshing than water in the summertime. When I've been working out in the farm and just sweating gallons, I come in, I'm just covered with dirt and sweat and everything. This hits the spot much better than water. Even filtered tap water, room temperature, all of that. It really just goes to your pores faster.
If you wanted to use juices rather than water, apple juice, like organic apple juice or organic.
Oh, it's as a base for your smoothie?
Yeah, it's a base.
Anything you want. We just need a liquid to make this stuff flow.
Okay.
I'm going to use, again, you have triple filtered water here at the studio.
Okay.
I took the filter apart. I thought it was great. I didn't have to install mine. And
And that's important because filters get rid of a lot of more toxic elements than we realize.
these triple filters, the third filter is charcoal element. Obviously the under sink units with the big ones, they can do a lot more, but this is a great start. First off, it takes out the fluoride and the chlorine. Okay, you don't need those in your body. Secondly, this will take out a lot of the pesticides and the pharmaceuticals in our typical tap water.
Right.
If you go to grassyroots.com, I've got an article on there about what's wrong with American tap water. And filtered water is the best water. Dr. Ann taught that distilled water was dead water, and filtered water is the way to go. So there are much better filter systems, but if I'm going to stress over the filter, I'm going to do more damage to myself by stressing over it than just saying, hey, it's as filtered as I could get it.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, that's about a cup. I'll make it work.
A cup?
Well, that's maybe, it says right here, okay, so it's 2 cups.
Okay.
I have a secret for thickening them up. I'll take that off your hands.
Okay.
You can, again, in a smoothie like this, you can fix anything. Oh, okay, we'll save the Rejuvelac for something else. I was supposed to use that.
That's okay.
But
It'll ferment a little more and get a little more powerful.
another day would be good for it. And if we have time, we'll come back to it and we'll actually make some more Rejuvelac.
Okay.
Now, it's great. What I didn't bring with me, the studio staff, they went out, they found all organic. I think it's wonderful. If I was making up a salad, especially like what I do when I come home from the store, I wash everything the day I get home. That way when I go in the fridge, it's ready. When you wash everything, if you get one of these spinner things, okay, and how that works is you wash your greens, you chop them up a little bit, you drop them down in here, and if you spin them around in this thing and dry them out, they will last longer in the fridge.
Right.
Okay? In my case, I just go to the market twice a week, maybe every 4 days. I eat them up too fast because this is work. Okay? But I mean, it's a nice thing, especially depending on your time constraints and the availability of child labor.
That's true.
Stay tuned for more Grassy Roots after these words from our sponsors.
When truth rings, curiosity sings. Finding yourself raw curious? Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program has the answers. Check out CheDiet.com and satisfy your raw curiosity.
Want to learn more about a raw living foods lifestyle? There's a wide collection of videos on the subject at CheDietVideos.com. You can find a video on any subject that suits your interest and your budget, including rare footage of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Food Lifestyle programs. This knowledge could change your life. Check out CheDietVideos.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you go, you spend 2 weeks and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Molkevitz, a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set, the other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's Raw Living Foods lifestyle. It's available at shediet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV with Beth Overgaauw and Jim Carey.
That's true. Yeah, children love to spin those things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so much of this living food thing, Beth, is to get the kids involved.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's all kinds of great little things we can do, like in this smoothie. You know, broccolis, every green, every fruit, every vegetable, every plant has different nutrients. I mean, wheatgrass, we get 108 of the 112 possible. But to get those 112 nutrients, we need dietary variety. So when I go through the produce aisle, I buy a little of everything. Bok choy, I remember the first time I bought that, I had no idea what it was,
right.
But it's different, okay?
Oh yeah.
And there's gotta be something in everything. Can't get the kids to eat broccoli? It's no problem, because we're gonna throw it in the blender and they're not gonna know they're eating broccoli.
Yeah.
They don't like celery, no problem. We throw it in the blender. No, when I start a smoothie, I like to think about how sweet I'm gonna make it and what I'm gonna do to make it taste good.
Okay.
So I've got a half an avocado here, and
there it goes.
and you know, Lulabelle, my dog, loves the avocado skins, but I saw recently in AARP magazine, avocados, raisins, grapes, and chocolate, all of them bad for the dog. I mean, chocolate we've all known can give your dog a heart attack. And he can have it 99 times, 100th time, boom, dead. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know about grapes and avocados. Okay, so now I make sure it goes straight in the trash. The dog can't get a hold of it.
Okay.
And she looks at me so forlorn. Okay, on this one, I've decided we're going to keep it simple. I've got an organic pear here. I've already washed everything.
Okay.
And this is the fun part of it. The stems are too fleshy and they're not going to blend.
Okay.
You cut the stem
I was
off.
afraid you were going to throw it in there. I just wanted to see.
All you want to do is chop it up good enough to give the blender a head start. Otherwise, if you have big chunks, they might hang up in there.
Seeds.
Seeds and all.
Okay.
There's vitamins and nutrients in there. Now, certain foods, like apples, for example, is one I know. Never eat apple seeds. They can be poisonous, especially if dried. But as they say, the antidote for the poison in apple seeds is in the apple. So if you're eating the seeds with the apple, it's okay, but don't eat the seeds separately. Yeah. Okay, but we've been doing this for 50 years in Dr. Ann programs, and it works fine. Now, at this point, I go to the fancy part of my smoothies. Okay. Or energy soups. And this is going to start as an energy soup. We're going to make a smoothie. I've got here organic herb salad. And bachelor guy that I am, and because of going and just wanting to have the variety without a lot of work, I buy these baskets, okay? And I don't know, it's just a feeling. Sometimes I bring them home and I wash them. And
it says it was pre-washed about 4 times.
Yeah.
Triple washed, I think.
And sometimes I wash it myself to make sure. And today, I didn't want to take the time or have it, I don't know how long it's going to be in the fridge here at the studio. So I'm trusting the triple wash label. Okay. But I go back and forth. You're never going to go wrong by washing it again.
Now that's an herb salad, and this one says
that's herb salad. Okay, and I probably use more herb salad than I usually do. I'm actually going to, because these can be strong, okay? I'm going to throw a bit back in there. You got to remember, this is
there's a difference.
Down home. This is down home. Any bachelor can even do this food prep, okay? Okay. So you throw some back in because what am I doing? I'm feeding myself. I don't care. This isn't the restaurant. I like the spring mix. So this gives me the start of my smoothie. Okay. My energy soup. I'm sorry, we're making energy soup today. Okay. At this point, it looks like I got a blender full. Hey, we're just starting on this. I usually like start it out slow. Let the big chunks come down, then flip her on high.
Okay.
Now that's reduced down quite a bit. Now, I'm sorry, this is down home the way I do it on the farm. Plenty sweet. Some more avocado would be nice, but avocado is great for fat, okay, and we need fat for our joints. Keep them lubricated. But half an avocado a day is all they recommend.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that, much as I'd love to have more avocado. And now I get into my personal treats. I love asparagus. And you ain't going to see none of this chop food prep stuff on
and you
here.
just use the end my mama always told me to break off.
The blender will fix that for me, okay?
Yeah.
My big filler, my big favorite is organic romaine lettuce. And I can't overly stress, Beth, how important organic is. You don't have the pesticides, the herbicides. And a lot of that stuff you can't wash off because it grows into the plant when the plant is growing. Okay? And organic romaine, you find it almost anywhere now, and it's inexpensive. So that's my big filler. That's about enough for tonight. You see how hard this is?
A little cauliflower.
Cauliflower technically is a green.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm being
Albino.
luxuriant.
Albino.
And cauliflower, right? Flowers are greens. It's organic. This is, a common brand, commonly available. I use every bit of the stem and everything. I do chop that some because it's fleshy and the blender doesn't deal with it so much, but I'm just being luxuriant tonight and only using the tops. If you want a red smoothie, beet. Okay.
That might be the way to start with your kids. They kind of might like a red.
If it wasn't
color.
sweet enough, I have extra pear. Celery. They say we should have a stick of celery every day. And sometimes I get fancy, pull the stick off and wash the whole stick. People say, oh, it's organic, I don't have to wash it. Hey, cat pee's organic, but I don't want to eat it.
Okay.
Okay, hemlock is organic, but I
yeah.
don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did see him pre-wash these foods, so we're just saving a step here.
Nice for spice, but it's strong cilantro.
Ah.
Now read the label in the store. It looks
Okay.
it looks so much. That's what I do in the store. Make sure it's not parsley
I love that flavor.
because they look so much alike. But you're gonna find that this two little sprigs here, that's about enough cilantro for any smoothie.
Okay.
Okay. Then you get into your luxury items. Oh, sunflower kernels. Okay. Sunflower kernels is one way to go. They did say organic, but they said salted.
Yeah.
The salt isn't a good part of the diet, but I don't do this 100%. It's an art, not a science. But for tonight's show, I brought my own sprouts.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do at this phase. We got our basics in. I've got my sprouted sunflower seeds here, hull and all. But
Okay.
you see they got little sprouts coming out of them. I'll put them out here for the camera where they're living. Those seed shells, they'll pretty much grind up. But
They don't chew so well.
do you like crunchy peanut butter? That's what they're going to taste like. They're going to be little bitty chunks. And wait, now we got to be careful. If this is radish, we don't want too much. That's the radish.
Okay.
That's powerful. But this one came out milder. Wheatgrass, I'd rather juice it because they can actually get tied around your impeller and stuff. It's very fibrous.
So leave
I
it
either juice it or I chew it
and then spit it out.
instead of chewing tobacco. Now this is a 5-bean mix of sprouts. I've been sprouting for 5
Wouldn't
days.
that be something? And we could convince the entire world that chewing wheatgrass sprouts would be the choice instead of tobacco.
Vitamins and nutrients instead of all that nicotine.
And if they want to spit, they can still spit. Just for the fun of it.
Chewing tobacco is what killed my my stepbrother at 62. Was all that chewing tobacco, mouth cancer, throat cancer, and
Those are good.
I carried this casket down this 3 years ago right now. That's alfalfa?
That's strong though. I mean, it's got a little bite to it too.
That's the clover.
Oh, okay.
I like clover.
Okay.
These are mung beans, store bought. You can grow your own, but
Is that enough mung beans, or
no, you're right. Let's use some mung beans. You like these, don't you? Yeah, they're always so juicy here. Besides, I got to get the radish taste out of my mouth.
Me too.
And we'll do this on another show. but I grow my own sprouts in the kitchen in jars. I'm looking for my alfalfa right now.
Yeah.
You'd probably label yours.
Yeah, I certainly might. But
But as a family project, we just taste test everything.
Yeah.
I mean, especially me being a bachelor. So, use up my alfalfa. Actually, since I really like alfalfa,
Want to get some more?
I got some organic Sprout Man alfalfa from Whole Foods.
If you don't have time to grow them, you can find them at
Right,
the store.
and these are very affordable. I think it's $5 for the whole tray. And he does these great assortments. I mean, this one was called gourmet salad. And you could actually toss this on a plate and have salad for two, and it's a supper. Throw some lettuce under it if you want. But I have made a meal. Look at all these different kinds of seeds in here. And they're all pre-sprouted. This is Steve Meyerowitz, and he's been doing this for, I'll bet you 30 years. Great sprouts, and very affordable. I think it's the best deal on the market. Hi Steve, good plug. Remember me? And then some of the basics, like I love pine nuts. So I throw them into the sweetener.
I like the way they crunch.
And again, dietary variety.
They are sweet. That's the funny thing about them.
Pumpkin seeds, not only are they good, they're high in zinc. You know what zinc is good for? A guy's prostate.
Oh, yeah, okay.
1 handful of zinc seeds a day, and all those other things that guys take pills for you don't need.
Okay.
Okay, a handful a day. So sprinkle some on top. They'll blend up well. If you really want to richen it up, which I'm going to do, or cashews. Cashews technically aren't an organic live food. They're steamed to get them out of the shells. I don't know if they really cooked it or not, but I'm not 100%. And I just love the lifestyle, and if it makes it taste better, half a handful of cashews is not going to be the end of the world compared to all those chain store hamburger joints that I used to eat at. I mean, I've been eating like this for 6 years now, and I went from, well, I went from 260 to 170, but I got off the program over Christmas and Thanksgiving, the holidays, went to mom's, went to dad's. And when your folks are in their 80s, you don't argue with what they serve.
No.
I hadn't eaten ham in like 9 years. So of course mom buys a great big honey baked ham. I loved it. I had the best time. I didn't feel so good the next
day.
Even that night when I went to bed. But my mom was 79 years old. Anything she puts in front of me, well, I've been doing that all my life. I've been doing that 58 years. Okay, let's turn that low. Sit back there,
And it is green.
and if something sticks in it, they even give you this rod. They'll push stuff down. See, it doesn't hit the bottom. And it is green, isn't it?
It's very green.
Now, really, consistency-wise, we would call this, I have all these cups lined up. Well, this will have, oh, there's a mug. We would call this energy soup.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little soupy. Let me test it first. I don't want you to get hurt.
I can't think of anything in there that would hurt me.
Sometimes I make them really strong. Too much radish or too much of the spicy.
How do you proclaim this one?
You proclaim it.
I like the little crunchies in it.
Yeah, that's sunflower seeds, and
really,
I didn't blend it as far as you could. It still got some pretty big chunks. Reason I held back, I wanted to illustrate this. There's one more ingredient that I use every day, and it's flaxseed. Okay, flaxseed gives you omega-3s. Okay, very important for the body in the wintertime, and we're in Louisville right now, or in Louisville suburbs. I actually take a fish oil capsule every day too to make sure I get enough omega-3s. Then I put about a ½ inch of flaxseed in there. And you see I've cleaned it by using other flaxseed in it.
Like 4 or 5 seconds?
Yeah, and I find that if you do it a few times, the heavy ones settle out better. It's important to grind your flaxseed fresh. It goes.
You can't keep it after you've ground it.
3 to 5 days and it goes rancid.
Okay.
I know what they sell in the store, the oils, everything else. The only way to get good omega-3s out of your flaxseed is to fresh grind it. But that's why God invented the little coffee grinder.
So,
It's a
but you
flexi grinder.
need to clean your coffee grinder then.
Clean the daylights out of it. I ran
every
flaxseed
time
through
you
it.
use it.
See all that stuck flaxseed?
Mm-hmm.
I ran flaxseed through it to stick to everything, and then wiped it out a couple more times. So I actually cleaned it by throwing flax through it.
And flax is a fabric, isn't it? When it's a full plant and it's
Oh,
they make
flax is
cloth
an
out of
amazing
it.
thing. You make cloth out of it.
I never thought to eat it.
And the other thing it does for your smoothie, it'll thicken up your smoothie. You get one that comes out too watery. You say, oh, I like everything about the taste except it's too loose. That's why I prefer to start with too much water, because the flax will thicken it up. Then there's something like that girls do with food mixes, flour for gravy.
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch,
Yeah.
right, I've heard that, yeah. That's not at all my field, that's why God invented the Waffle House. But, but that was before I found I could do this at home for pennies and lose 80 pounds, 90 pounds.
Stay tuned for more Grassy Roots after these words from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you go, you spend 2 weeks, and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Monkevitz, a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set, the other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's Raw Living Foods lifestyle. It's available at SheDiet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
Looking for a comprehensive guide on the subject of the raw foods lifestyle? Susan Shank has written an encyclopedia on the subject, The Live Food Factor. This comprehensive guide to the ultimate diet for body, mind, spirit, and planet covers every possible factor related to the subject. This compilation has received rave reviews by those in the raw foods movement. Visit www.livefoodfactor.com for your copy. The Live Food Factor by Susan Shank. Want to learn more about a raw living foods lifestyle? There's a wide collection of videos on the subject at SheDietVideos.com. You can find a video on any subject that suits your interest and your budget, including rare footage of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Food Lifestyle programs. This knowledge could change your life. Check out ChiDietVideos.com. For more information on content shared on Grassy Roots, check out GrassyRoots.com. And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV with Beth Overgaauw and Jim Carey.
A little bit not cycling. Another reason for that habit, I turn them both down. If I wanted to throw in a little more flax, let's say I want a little more sunflower kernels. Throw them in the hole and put your hand over it. This is an important part. Put your hand over it, and if you start on low, hit my hand on the spot right there. I've actually thrown bananas in while it was working.
Bananas are a good sweetener.
Bananas are a great sweetener, Beth, yeah. The thing to watch, it's funny, some foods it's really important to be organic. One of my favorite comfort foods or snack foods is fresh blueberries. This was full when I got here at the studio today.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, I've been snacking. That's my snack food is blueberries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, all those things that grow on the ground. Peaches, all those fruits with real thin skins, it's real important for them to be organic because they can actually absorb herbicides and pesticides right through their skins. But when you look at avocados, bananas, and papayas, those things with really thick skins, papayas sort of borderline, but avocado and bananas for sure. If it's 10, 20 cents a pound, if you have the money, organic is a good idea. But it's not essential. I really don't worry about it on bananas. For bananas, I want to see the ones that are ripe.
Yeah.
We didn't use bananas here at the studio because everything you guys could find were green.
Yeah.
And that's why I like, well, I gotta buy stock in these people's company. That's why I like the Whole Foods store, because they order their produce that was picked more recently. I can see the taste, even the non-organic the non-organic bananas, I can taste it. That they taste better because they were riper when they were picked. Because the time to market.
I'm anxious. It looks good. It looks interesting.
And you see, that came out of the
It's very
smoothie.
green, though. Yes.
Man, I ought to do an infomercial. That was a great pour.
It's pretty. Yeah.
While you're tasting that,
What I like about it is the different parts of your tongue taste the different flavors.
oh yeah, that's how the tongue works.
Yeah.
But you notice that with
break
something
it down.
like that.
Yeah, you break it down.
I mentioned the yard sale blenders. These are real handy for snacks. I mean, I work hard during the day, and I wouldn't make a full blender like this, but I'll drink a couple 16-ounce glasses of smoothies
yourself.
for a meal before I'm full. And that leaves me full, and that'll carry me for 6 hours. But for small eaters, and they tell me here at the studio, you eat like a bird. These little blenders like this, these things are great. And you actually, well, it doesn't do it because I unplugged it, you know. Okay, now work.
That would scare me if that worked.
I have a light bulb that works like that. But that's something in my magic kit. And you're drinking it right out of the same cup. It's great.
Found a full
Yeah.
sprout. Like a treat. Find a full sprout, survive the blender.
Yeah, we can make a game of it with the kids. I was going to take this apart and use this. I want to see how it came out. So, there we go. A healthy, I mean, I don't believe in superfoods, but there's a superfood. This is a superfood. A healthy green smoothie. Skål to your health. Na zdraví.
Cheers.
And
And if you do it just right?
Okay, we get you a job at Got Smoothie.
There you go.
Hey, let's do magazine ads. Got Smoothie? I hope Got Smoothie isn't copyrighted along with that other phrase.
Now that one I got a taste of that radish. Just a bit, you know.
And that's why sparingly on the, I left out collard greens and a few other things here in the sink. Variety. Yeah. I'm just gonna wear my mustache probably. They harden up, they get crusty, they last all day. It can be embarrassing when you go into Walmart and say, "What's that on your lip, mister?"
Yeah. Well, I thank you for this, and hopefully our viewers will be interested in finding more recipes for smoothies. And
I'll put some on the website too,
website.
grassyroots.com.
And experiment.
Yeah, don't be afraid. You can always fix it by volume.
Yeah. That reminds me of the time I made clove soup. You don't want to know about that. It was bad.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you go, you spend 2 weeks, and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Monkevitz, a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set, the other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's Raw Living Foods lifestyle. It's available at shediet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
When it comes to obesity, it's not about how much you eat, it's what you eat. Learn more with Beth Overgaauw as she chats with Dr. Jim Carey on Grassy Roots TV, airing Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock on Channel 6 television. Getting back to the roots of healthy eating.